Before we get started on today's episode, I want to just give a quick shout out to a former student of mine. And their company is called Manifest the Frequency. He is who put together the new intro and outro that I have to my podcast. So I hope you enjoy this amazing music brought to you by Manifest Frequency. And I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Hi, and welcome back, friends, to Heaven to Betsy Conversations About Life. I'm your host, Betsy DeVega. For those of you that are new, we would like to welcome you to our family. And I hope that you will get something out of my podcast. Could you please like, subscribe, or ring the bell? It will help us so much. Thank you. Today we're going to continue on with the H.E.L.P series. I promise you I'll delve into each of those cognitive skills we discussed a little deeper. But before we get started, let me get into my rating scale for Parkinson's. I'm going to say today is a 3. It is getting close to lunchtime. I'm getting close to needing my meds. But I think I can do it. I think I can get through today. And it's a pretty good day. I slept good. And I have my meds on board, but I'm getting close to needing more. So anyway, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about memory. Do you have the memory of an elephant? Or do you have the memory of a mouse? Which memory do you have? It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what you're going through. We could all use practice to get our memory stronger. And there's some great exercises you can do to help strengthen your memory. But memory is something that is critical, especially when you're in school. And it's something we want to keep for the rest of our lives. As I mentioned to you, there are 3 types of memory. There's your short-term memory, your working memory, and your long-term memory. We call it the STM, WM, or LTM. Your short-term memory is like a Post-it note. It can only hold 7 to 10 items at a time. So if you're in school and you're getting a vocabulary list or a spelling list, that's usually 20 words that they want you to remember. How can you do that when you can only hold 7 items at a time? So by just using your memory and relying on your memory, what do you think is going to start to happen when you get to the 8th, the 9th, or the 10th word? You forget some of the words, right? So there's other things you need to do to compensate. And I'm going to go over those with you today. Your working memory, as I mentioned to you, is kind of like a whiteboard. It's information that you have, but then you add to it. You need to calculate it or work at it. Or you need to use it every day. It's something that's it's used a little bit more than a Post-it note. And then your long-term memory is your file cabinet. That is all the memories that you've done and dealt with throughout your life. That's a permanent file. So let's go into some things that you could do. What are some of those brain boosts that you can do to help you with your memory? Well, one of them I can tell you I struggle with a lot, and that's remembering people's names when you meet them. So one of the things you can do there is when you meet somebody, you say their name. Try really hard if you can to say their name 3 times, but say it with intention. Hi, my name is Betsy. Hi, Betsy. Nice to meet you. Betsy, it's great to be at this party with you. So try and say it 3 times intentionally so you can start thinking more about it. You're using other parts of your brain. Another thing you can do is association. So I joke with people and say, my name is Betsy, and they're like, what is your name? And I'll say, Betsy. Think of Betsy Ross and put an American flag around me, and you won't forget my name. Here's another example. You meet somebody, for example, the name Michelle. You can think of her at the beach picking up a shell. It's my shell. And that way you'll remember that name. Have you noticed sometimes that the odder the name, the easier it is to remember? Or if somebody, have you ever had a hard time connecting a name to somebody because to you that person doesn't look like that name? You got to break that cycle because you're using a memory to help you. And you need to start a new memory as you're learning that name. So that's one example. And you can do that with different aspects like vocabulary and words that you might need to remember. Do an association. When I would teach the kids, for example, this is going to sound so silly, but I was teaching the kids capitals of states, and there was Boise, Idaho. I would always go, Boise, and she never forgot that state. When we do Louisiana, I would say, what's the capital of Louisiana? And I'd go, and I'd say it's red, and she would remember Baton Rouge. She would bat, and it was a red bat. So again, that association. You can use mnemonics. You can use rhymes. You can use different things. I will never forget what a conjunction is, because when we were younger, we used to watch those, I forget the name of them, but those cute little episodes. And there was that song, Conjunction, Junction, what's your function? That song stayed with me. So to this day I can tell you what a conjunction is, but it was because of that song. So songs, mnemonics, rhymes, anything that will help you. You can also write things down so that you can visually look at it. That way you're helping your memory. One way you can test your memory is give yourself a minute, time yourself, or do it with somebody else, with a friend. And ask, or if you're with a friend, time them and ask them to give you as many food items as they can in 1 minute. Or animals. See if you can beat yourself every time. Come up with new animals. Come up with different things to remember and time yourself. Get cards and play memory with the cards. Put them upside down and try and find matches. And remember where you put them. Little things like that actually make a big difference. The timing, when you time yourself, that's like adding weights on a dumbbell. By timing yourself and giving yourself a limit, it's forcing you to think faster on your feet. So those are some little simple ways you can do that. I'd mentioned remembering a phone number. Try really hard to remember your kids' phone numbers or your partner or mate's phone numbers or other people's phone numbers. Here's something to add to that. Don't just remember them, try and do them backwards. See if you can remember them backwards. You're adding that extra level of a challenge as you're remembering. I hope this helps a little bit. That's all I got for today on the chapter on memory. And I hope that by doing these little tiny things, you're going to start to have more of a memory of an elephant than a mouse. Anyway, for today, I hope you smile a little, pray a lot, and together we're going to get through this thing we call life, one conversation at a time. Once again, remember to like, subscribe, or share. Have a wonderful day and take care. God bless. Goodbye.